Sunday, June 19th, 2022. Today in the Daily Review, we discuss part one of the epic mafia masterpiece of Indian cinema. That's right, today it's Gangs of Wasseypur, part one. With your host, me, Professor Joe LaRocca. Just Joe LaRocca. Just saying it like that. It helps, though. Okay, this one came highly recommended from everybody. There's my dog licking its butt. Cool. Anyway, this is what I'm talking about, baby. I know I've been watching a lot of different types of Indian cinema, and this one fucking takes the cake, man. This one's so good. Holy crap. I'm only through part one. The whole thing entirely is over 5 hours long, which is pretty hardcore, but it should be. It's epic. It's huge. It spans decades. Originally starting with issues mining gangs. Not gangs that mine each other, but like literally coal mining scams, like where you soak the coal so it weighs more, so you get paid more for it, but then it dries out and it's actually less. It's pretty smart. So lots of different stuff with that going on. Plus, there's religious conflict in the area between different types of Muslims. I think they're all Sunni, but then there's also this other type, another sect called Quranists. I'm saying it all wrong, but whatever, religious unrest. And then obviously some people must be Hindus, I'm assuming. What percentage of India are there, Indian Catholics? Are there Indian Protestants that from the English occupation? I bet there must be some, right? I'm going to have to read about this. Anyway, so yes, there's all sorts of religious issues, which even if you don't know, like, the exact history, like I don't, you know what's going on. You get it. You can relate it to whatever country you're from. There's always some sort of unrest or criminal underground in pretty much every country that's ever existed. So you can just go, oh yeah. And so for me, this is like watching a Scorsese movie and being like, oh, that character's Jewish, so they can never be a made man, that kind of thing, which might be a little bit confusing if you're not from the country, but it's just like, oh no, they're not 100% Siciliano, and they're not from the old country, so you can only make it to a certain point, so things like that, you totally get it by context clues, even if you don't are ignorant of all the history, as I am. Anyway, it's great. It starts out, it's like a Jesse James, Robin Hood type story. And then there's twists and turns that like you don't expect, like people will just get killed and you'll be like, that was a main character. They just got shot before their story's over. It's just so great. And like, it becomes generational. In a sense, it's a little bit like A Place Beyond the Pines in that sense, like a revenge story that kind of keeps going and then becomes mythologized, and like power keeps shifting back and forth, and people, because in different points of their lives, they're seeing things from different perspectives. This is like truly a masterpiece. This is one of the best movies I've seen in a long, long time. I mean, the first shot's like a 10-minute, within the first shot, the opening shot is a close-up screen of like a soap opera, like a popular soap opera. And it's this woman doing this, singing this song, being like, and I'm like, that's so brilliant. I know why Scorsese loves this movie. Because it's saying like, this is going to be a soap opera, but it's real. It's going to seem like a soap opera with people having kids, with different servants having kids with this person, and then the kids are growing up. It's going to be like a soap opera. But so there's that aspect of it. But on top of that, that it's based on real events. But then she's also like, come into this world. Come on, let me introduce you. It's so brilliant. And then that's all like a 10-minute single take shot, the kind of thing that separates the boys from the men, as they say in the film business, or the girls from the women, I guess we can also say. So I love it. And the women are so strong in this movie too. Like they get beat around and then they're like, fuck you. Like, oh, it's so good. There's so many good aspects of this. This is like, this is the first modern Indian movie I've seen, with the exception of maybe Sardar Udham, that I've been like, yes, that's like using the style of filmmaking that I am the biggest fan of, which is, so there's this really fancy French term called mise en scène, and it means like to put within the frame. And it really, if you simplify it, it just means that everything that's happening on the screen, everything you framed up, has meaning. Nothing's in that shot by accident, because everything you place in the frame and where you place it in the frame gives a lot of information. And if you don't mean to be placing it, you might be giving misinformation. The way I describe it in class is like, let's say you're writing a paragraph about garlic, and you're talking about, oh, the origins of garlic and what it's cooked for. And then right in the middle of that sentence, you said, machine guns are a dangerous weapon. Anyway, back to garlic. You'd be reading and be like, what the fuck? Why are you talking about machine guns? I thought we were talking about garlic. That is the equivalent of having an unclean frame, a frame where it has not been thought out. When I say frame, I mean your shot composition. Anyway, in this, now you can have a movie that's all kind of gritty and sloppy and still have a clean mise en scène, if you know what I mean, like a very clean in thought, you know what I mean? It doesn't always have to be like Kubrick, perfect framing kind of shots, you know what I mean? Like in 2001, it can be all types of stuff, or like Ozu, or a Japanese filmmaker, or even, some of the classic Indian cinema I've seen that's definitely taken from those things. This is all bombastic and crazy and feels like it's using this authentic Indian filmmaking style while bringing in the deeper level, the even deeper level. I'm not saying that, but it's representing Indian cinema, but also doing the thing that all the best world cinema, all the best cinema period in the world does, which is like telling the story visually and making sure that their mise en scène has some thought behind it. Excuse me. Now, I don't think like Marvel movies don't have like storytelling mise en scène, I think they look cool. But I'm never like, I don't learn things from the image. You know what I mean? I never walk away from a Marvel movie understanding more about the human condition, which is, unfortunately, I'm going to sound really arrogant. That's the point of art, is to find beauty in truth and truth in beauty, right? And I know that makes me sound like a jerk, but this is my religion. I go that deep with this. And so yeah, movies like KGF or whatever that was called, it's super fun, and I can appreciate the filmmaking and people like getting their arms broken on their shoulder and then him using it to comb his hair. With that Yash, I'm realizing that Yash guy's a huge star, huh? Because they watch a movie from him in this movie, and I'm like, oh, that guy's like their Clint Eastwood or something. So it's cool to piece that stuff together. But in terms of filmmaking style, this is way more up my alley personally. I think it's amazing, and I haven't even seen the second part yet. But all I had to hear was that Scorsese loved it, and you can see that there's a little taste, there's a little spice of Scorsese in there, like the gun scene that like when they're he's selling the guns. That seems like, and kind of the family scenes feel very Scorsese-ish, like inspired by, not in a who doesn't and who's not inspired by Scorsese, but maybe not at all. But yeah, it ranges from like the 20s to like we're in the 90s now. It's so cool, man. I can't say enough good stuff about this, and I also don't want to like spoil anything. I've realized everything I've written down were things that made me go like, and now I don't want to ruin that. But let me just give you one little example of very early on in the movie. Sarar, I believe it's him as a boy, is watching his father, discuss with the lead guy of the mines. See, I'm not good with names anyway, but then these are also foreign names, and I'm some like complete moron when it comes to that. But he's getting the like muscle job for the mine, his father, who ends up being kind of like this icon figure. And he goes on one side of the room and looks through the door, and we just see the father like trying to make the decision. And then he goes around to the other side of the room and like peeks through this other door and sees the other side of the conversation. We realize like that we're seeing this through the boy's eyes because he's going to be the protagonist, and we need to see, because we need to grow with him, not with the father. It's such good filmmaking, man. This is top notch. I'm going to grade it. It's going to get a solid A. This is my favorite movie I've seen in a real long time. and my favorite Indian movie I've seen since The Disciple. Uh, Now, I have seen a bunch of classic ones by Ray, the Apu trilogy and The Music Room and The Big City. Uh, and I love those. Those are great. And I do love RRR and these big ones. And I'm going to everybody's telling me to watch that trailer for Brahmastra, which is the Astra universe, which is going to be a big deal. And I think it is going to be a big deal. But to me, that just looks like a crazy video game. Like, because I'm not like a huge Marvel guy. I'm more of a, that's what I said, give me a Mean Streets. And you gave me this, and you're right. This is fucking badass. Art, baby. It's art. Unadulterated. Okay, you can like and subscribe if you like to subscribe. I'm here every single day and have been for almost 3 years. Can you say that? No, you can't. Well, you probably can. Anyway, yeah. Like and subscribe. I already said that stuff. Okay, I'm just like so jazzed by this movie. I'm so excited. 'Cause my brother and I were talking yesterday, and he was saying how he doesn't like get excited for movies anymore. That like in the 90s and the 2000s, he'd like see movies and they would like change his opinions on the world and stuff. And I was like, well, maybe it's because you have a kid now and you're older and stuff. He's like, no, it can still happen. He's like, why? But why can't they just like make movies like that? He's like, and I'm like, man, I think you just need to like dig deeper, and like I've had to do. You need to go to other countries. America is spent in terms of our movie making abilities. I think we are marveled out. We make sweet little indie movies. I mean, indie is an independent, not as Indian. Are there indies? Are there independent Indian films? There must be, right? Give me some independent Indian films next. That's what I want. Indias. Okay. Take it easy, guys. It's a beautiful... I got to go there now. That's just it. I'm going to have to go to India, aren't I? Who's going to host me? Who wants to host me? I'm coming to Rajasthan. I don't know. I think that's where my buddy Gautam's family might be from. So I probably would go where they're from so that I would have some contacts as I have health issues and don't travel well. Okay, I'll talk to you guys later. I'll have Gautam on the show soon. We're going to watch a movie together, but he has a little baby as well, so... People having families leaves me alone. It's a bummer. Anyway, watch this movie. Find this movie. It's not actually on Netflix. I had to steal it from a torrent site. But you can probably get it if you have a VPN, which I don't. And you can rent it on Amazon and Apple and YouTube. And I would do that. It's that good. I wish I had just bought the DVD because it's a Blu-ray or whatever. Because it's badass. Hey, I went past the end credits. All right. Bye, guys. I love you. Indian cinema. A little icon comes flying.